With a strong performance at the Combine, Alabama's Ty Simpson can stamp himself as a first-round quarterback.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. That's my guy, Cade Sanchez. He's the director of scouting with the Draft Network and 2019 national champion with the LSU Tigers. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On Podcast Network the number one sports podcast network in America. It's all because of you. Guys, we're previewing the Combine. We're starting with the money positions, the quarterbacks. We want to talk about those quarterbacks, who we're excited for, who needs a good performance, and the sleepers that you need to watch. Keith, I want to start with you, man. We look at this class of quarterbacks, about 14 QBs. We know at least one for sure who is not going to throw, and that is Fernando Mendoza. So he's waiting till his pro day, throw with his guys. Ty Simpson came out and said, I will be throwing at the Combine, so that lets you know that he's healthy, or much healthier than he was to close the season, because he was banged. I think he had like a lower body injury, and then of course the rib, I think, or whatever it was from the hit from D'Angelo Pons and the CFP. Who are you most excited to see work out, throw, and do everything at the Combine from the quarterbacks?
Yeah, and DP, the rest of these quarterbacks should throw, right? They should be lining up to throw, right? And even after the drill done, they should be asking, can we get some extra throws in, right? Just as far as them fighting for their draft spot, like this is just where this class is, where their position, right? To where there's so much up and down. And these, I think, especially for this class, the NFL Combine could be such an inflection point one way or the other for some of these quarterbacks, right? And so with that being said, quarterback, I'm excited to see throw. One, Garrett Nussmeier. And watching him in a routes on air type of situation, I think people being able to see the velocity on the football, and for him, you hope that it goes in the great way, right? Like he shows to be healthy. He's driving the football down the field. He's launching them 50 yards down the field. And then people get back into the conversation, the narrative of like, wait. Remember when we had him as a first-round guy? Remember when we had him as a top 10 pick? Remember when people said he was the best quarterback in the 2025 NFL draft class at one point? So for him, I think it's probably very important because he did a good job of gaining momentum post-Senior Bowl, right? Or during the Senior Bowl, he did a good job of getting momentum heading into the right direction. Now it's about following that part up and doing some different things out there. So I'm gonna go Garrett Nussmeier first, and then I'm gonna toss it back to you.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Nuss, because Nuss, that Senior Bowl performance, and we said it months before the Senior Bowl. That's the type, like, the Senior Bowl is a place that you can start to flip and reshape the narrative around your draft perception, who you are as a player. And he did just that down in Mobile for a full week and playing in the game and played well in the game and everything else. And he walked out of Mobile, like they always, like, the slogan, the draft starts in Mobile, right? These all-star games, when you walk out of an all-star game and the arrow is pointing up, that's a data point that you've checked off. Like, you know what? Successful week at this at Mobile or the Shrine Bowl, whatever. Successful week here. Now let's go to the Combine and continue to reshape that. I'm looking forward to seeing Garrett Nussmeier. Definitely hoping that he's even if he's not fully healthy, please tell me you're close to 90% than 75, right? I want to see you as close to being 100% as possible, Keith. I go right to Ty Simpson, a guy that's been out of sight, out of mind since that hit versus Indiana in the second round of the CFP. Him coming out and saying I appreciate all the things he's said since the season's been over. He said, yeah, I could have went and got NIL money and got millions to stay in school, but I care about my legacy, though. And that's not what I want to do, right? So he's like, I'm going to the league. And then, of course, reports came out. I think either his dad or something. Reports came out that his camp had heard from the NFL that he's viewed well. So we'll see how that plays out. But then also to say, I'm throwing. I'm throwing at the Combine. When it's quarterback day, I'm throwing. I'm gonna be there. I'm testing. I'm doing what I need to do. And I think for him, it's all about showcasing same thing as Nuss, arm talent, velocity, that you could drive the ball, that you could push the ball down the field, but let your accuracy shine, right? That you don't have to worry about no guard getting beat, right? Like you don't have to worry about no offensive line in front of you, no pressure. Just go out there and just like literally deliver the pinpoint accurate passes that we know you can do. Because if you do those things and you check those boxes off where like I'm healthy, I'm showcasing my arm talent and my ability to drive the football. But then also when these guys are breaking, especially guys you've never thrown to, right? Guys you don't even know. And you're able to put the ball where only they can get it, right? Like let them boys go out there and make plays. Because that's not like I remember Steve Smith Sr. a couple years ago. Was it Tyree Jackson, the big quarterback out of Buffalo? I think was out there.
Yeah. I think,
and he was throwing heat seekers, and the receivers in the gauntlet drill couldn't catch him because it's like, bro, you're throwing this like 100 miles per hour at my face. I don't have a helmet on. What are we doing? And Steve goes over there, you can hear him on the mic. Hey man, what are you doing? Like this ain't about you. Like throw catchable passes to these
guys. My guy said every rep matters. Okay, my guy said every
rep clearly every rep mattered. He was like out there trying to showcase, hey, somebody watching me bullet these passes that I shouldn't. Bro, it's a 5-yard little hitch route, brother. You don't got to put it down. Like, you don't got to do that. Like, but yeah, I think that's the thing for me is like making sure that you're also putting the ball there properly, so then the receivers look good. Because if the receivers look good now, and you look good, like it's a everything's a full picture that came full circle, and these GMs are going to be sitting there for the ones who are there. I think the only one I know that won't be there, I think, is the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach and GM. Yep. Gladstone and the head coach, they're not supposed to be there, but everybody else is rumored to be there. So yeah, like go out there and be accurate with the football.
No, I'm with that. I want to ask you though. I'm about to bring it right back to you. Ty Simpson walking into the NFL Combine. So right now, what is his floor? Right, as far as do you think like as far as a draft position, and what is his ceiling? Like how much is there for him to lose and gain in perspective of this? So like what's his floor and what's the ceiling?
I think floor is second round. I think, floor is second round. If he comes in and he's just okay or, solid, he doesn't mess up. He's just solid, right? Like he's not inaccurate or spraying the ball left and right. Hey, to be completely honest, who cares? Because look at Tyler Shuck. Remember Tyler Shuck did the whole, I think he did the play action. Like
oh yeah, the side arm. It was something. It was a wild throw. I remember.
He rolled to his left side arm, and people were like, "What are you doing?" I think Kurt Warner got on him about it, and then he went top 40. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you can do that and not be completely accurate because of some of the decisions, and you just having the bravado to try some of these things, and you still go with the 40th pick. Ty, you might be all right? But I think that's the second round, middle second round. I think he's a top 50 pick. I look at that 50th pick. I don't think he makes it past there, right? Ceiling, though, is interesting, Keith. And I'll say this. I'm going to get bold here. Ceiling, 16 to the Jets.
Like 16.
And I'm going to tell you why I feel that way. So if he goes out here and he just rips it, right? Like because I think if I'm him with his athletic profile and stuff, I do the exact same thing Tyler Shuck did. I think Tyler Shuck was the only quarterback that ran last year.
Yeah. Yep.
I think he ran and jumped, right? He competed against himself, like essentially. So if nobody else is going to run, like I expect Taylen Green might run because like that's one of your selling points, brother. Is like I'm a streaky passer, but I'm a really good athlete, so you might want to run. If I'm Ty, I run, I jump, depending on what your jumping numbers are, I run for sure. And then, of course, I throw. And if he goes out there and just has a day, Keith, at the end of the day, Jets fans, you might not want to hear it. Your head coach is on borrowed time. Mm-hmm. So what he's not trying to do is get fired because, well, we're not. Are we running it back with Justin Fields? Or like who's our quarterback, right? So he could absolutely be in the situation that says we have 2, 16, 33, 44, and 103. We got 5 picks in the top 105. I can take Ty Simpson and still get everything I need in this draft class. I think 16 is probably the ceiling.
I want to ask real quick because I'm looking at Tinkathon right now, right, just to get the draft order. You have the Jets at 2, the Cardinals at 3. You have the Dolphins at 11. Do you see any of those teams selecting them that high?
Nah, I think they would go BPA, and
Okay.
I think like the Jets at 2 will probably get best defensive lineman off the board, whether that's Bain, Reese,
Right,
Bailey.
right, right.
You know what I mean? Cardinals, I think they're going to look at right tackle, whether that's Maui Noah or Fano. I think that's what they're going to do to make sure, hey, we got ourselves 2 young bookend tackles. And I think the Dolphins stick and go defense, whether that's whether it's D line or get another edge rusher because they cut Bradley Chubb, or go get them a corner.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, cool. Well, DP, let's do this, man. We talked about who we're most excited for. Let's talk about who needs this the most, right? Who needs a good performance at the NFL Combine? We'll discuss that coming up next.
As the new year gets going, a lot of people are trying to simplify their routines, and dinner is a big one. Between busy workdays, cold winter nights, and packed schedules, having an easy, reliable dinner plan makes a huge difference. And that's where Home Chef comes in. Home Chef takes the stress out of cooking by delivering fresh, pre-proportioned ingredients right to your front door. Easy to follow recipes that actually taste great. They're rated #1 by users of other meal kits for quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. And it's easy to see why, because meals come ready to fit your schedule. 30-minute recipes, oven-ready trays, or quick lunches. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 50% off your first box, free shipping, and free dessert for life. Just go to homechef.com/locked on. That's homechef.com/locked on for 50% off your first box, free shipping, and free dessert for life. Must be an active subscriber for free dessert. Quarterbacks who need to perform well at the NFL Scouting Combine. That's what we're getting into next. Thanks for being an Everydayer with us. If you want the show ad-free, go check out the Everydayer Club to become a member. And to do that, go to lockedonnfldraft.supercast.com. Quarterbacks who need a good performance, Keith. I go to my neck of the woods. I go to Clemson, and I go to Cade Klubnik. Cade didn't have the luxury of being at the Senior Bowl, right? He was at the Shrine. He did some solid things at the Shrine. But the way that Nussmeier kind of shifted and his teammate, TJ Parker, reshaped his draft perception from just a week in Mobile. People were like, man, he wasn't that productive this year. Then he's out there and he's getting sacks and he's getting pressure and he's long-arming every single tackle that he goes up against. It was like, man, okay, yeah, Clemson just wasn't good this year from a coaching staff standpoint. This kid clearly wasn't your problem. But that wasn't Cade Klubnik's. He wasn't a beneficiary of that, right? So now you walk into the combine, you're the other one that needs to follow the Tyler Shuck plan. You're a good athlete. You're a state champion in 400, the 4x4. Go showcase that speed. Run that 100. Heck, jump. Do the vertical and the broad and everything. And Keith, I think he needs to be able to throw the ball well. We know you got a good arm. We know you can drive the ball on out routes from far hash and stuff like to the sideline and drive it up the seam. But it's the anticipation. It's the accuracy. Now, are there going to be some things that, how do you handle post-snap picture changes and all that stuff? Yeah, that stuff we can't answer at the combine. But if you go out here and you want this to be a situation where the ball don't hit the ground, Cade Klubnik. Don't let the ball hit the ground. And if it does, it's because the receiver dropped it. And everybody's like, well, that was an on-point pass. Like, quarterback delivered, the receiver had brick hands, or whatever the case may be. Like, let that be the conversation. Don't let the ball hit the ground because you threw it at their feet. The ball's too low. It's too darn high. You spraying it all over the place. I think Cade Klubnik needs to have a day. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Keith, his draft stock, it's TBD. To be determined. I have no clue where he is right now as a prospect.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's very true, right? And you know what? I think about Cade with we talked about this with that last segment, right? And you talked about Ty Simpson running. Cade is a kid that needs to run, right? He's known for being a good athlete. Go put down a 4.55, right? Like and we talked about changing the conversation. What Nussmeier was able to do at the Senior Bowl was able to get people to ask, was it LSU? Right? Was
Yep.
it an LSU problem? That's what you want the people to do coming out of the NFL Combine and say, was it a Clemson problem? You want to get one offensive coordinator and one head coach to believe that, you know what, all of the first round tools are there. That seems like you want them to start thinking about Dabo Sweeney and NIL and the transfer portal. You want them to think about all of those different things, right?
Like, that's why they fired their OC. It wasn't Cade. It was the OC.
It wasn't Cade. Yeah, you want them to be able to create that conversation. So I think running a 40 time, honestly, every athletic testing, like if you're a good athlete, he need to go put the numbers out there, right? And showcase that he's a really good athlete. And then, throwing the football. It's not that he lacks velocity or anything like that. No. Like he has a good arm. Like the reason why he was in the first round was because of how the ball came off of his hand, right? Like he's a guy that can drive and make every throw on the football field. But DP, the guy I'm gonna go with, who needs a good performance, I think Diego Pavia. And I know people have kind of written him off, right? Listen, he played football at a fairly good level in the SEC, right? So I think that there's obviously talent there. But things like the Senior Bowl wasn't a great showing for him. People knowing that he's 5'10 and a half or 5'10 and 3/4, whatever it is, right?
Well, that's gonna be the key. He came in they said he came in at 5'9 at the Senior Bowl.
Oh, it's 5'9.
You come into this combine and hit 5'10 and be like, oh man, no, we could work with that. Like that,
a
little bit better
you got
situation.
The Bryce Youngs of the world, the Kyler Murrays, things like that. I think for him, to be completely honest, just where his status was, right? Let's talk about pre-Senior Bowl and pre-Heisman situation. Probably looking at a top 100 pick potentially, right? Like if he was 5'11, the Heisman stuff didn't happen, and you watching this game or play on film, you're looking at a top 100 pick. To go from that to people wondering if you're going to get drafted, right? You need a good performance here. And I don't know what type of athlete he is, but he may want to do the testing also. But throwing the football, I think at the Senior Bowl, and the Senior Bowl is always tough for quarterbacks, right? Because there's so many different variables that can go into quote unquote having a good day or having a bad day, right? Receivers, you got your bang eights, and then there's certain, they don't round off a route the right way, or they're not precise in their route running, and so it looks like you overthrew a football, but they're supposed to keep it vertical. Just think like there's so many different variables that go into that, and there are not as many reps, right? That's not just solely focused on throwing. Like we go to practice, right, and be like, okay, this is an entire run installment period, right? We can't take nothing away from that with the quarterbacks. So I look at Diego Pavia and I say he needs this because he's fighting to get drafted at this point.
No, 100%. I think for him, and it's not just for context, it's not even just the athletic testing and the field stuff. A key for him is, can you prove to teams that you will be a good backup QB?
Right? How he carries himself, basically.
Yep. Because you talking about getting into camp or a team drafting you say, hey, you're the backup. Like they're letting you know off the rip, like we got a starter, you're the backup, right? What we don't need is you pulling the crap you did, being emotional about not winning the Heisman, and then you putting up some stuff and saying things about people or whatever the case may be. And hey, do we have to worry about you trying to be an anonymous source and leaking issues or whatever out of the locker room? Or are you gonna come in, be your brother's keeper, right? Like, looking after the starting quarterback. Like, hey, the starting quarterback throws a pick in the game and he comes to the sideline, he's about to look at the tablet like, yo, I saw what happened. They rotated, you know what I mean? And now you can look at it, you working with him, you're learning at the same time, and you're just being a great teammate, because that's what you're gonna have to answer to. Hey, what was that whole Heisman thing about, Diego?
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
And like you talked about the off the field stuff, I think podium sessions, right? And it's very rarely we talk about a prospect and say podium sessions going to be important. They're going to be important for him because when you say what you said about those guys, right? I believe the people that vote for the Heisman are mostly sports journalists, right? So are those going to be the people now asking you the questions? Or are they going to be asking you difficult questions intentionally because they feel attacked, right? Like there's a lot that's going to go into,
and you keep your composure up there at the podium.
Yep. How do you answer the questions and show that you're a leader? And with that being said, he could fully put it past him, right? Like if he handles all of this well, ace the test, then you're like, okay, cool. I may not be going in the second round or the third round like I thought, but I'm probably gonna be a 5th round pick and I'll take it, right? Like based
Yeah,
off
I'll
of
take
all
it.
of the different circumstances, I'll take it. DP.
100%. Well, real quick, I want to throw
Go
one
ahead,
more
go ahead, go ahead.
quarterback
What you
out
got?
there. My guy Taylen Green out of Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, started the season out strong. Like, you were a guy that have pushed your way into people looking at you potentially as a day 2, 2nd round, 3rd round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Finished the season off not great. Went to the Senior Bowl. Did not practice consistently all season,
It was a roller coaster.
all week. Then you get to the game and you out here. He rolled out one direction, threw the ball back across the field. I'm like, what in the world are you doing? So, like, yeah, it's been a constant slide, a mudslide for you. Now it's time to gain some traction, put your feet down. Like, you know what? Let me climb back up this hill. Let me climb back up this mountain. I'm gonna interview well. I'm gonna test well. I'm gonna throw accurately. My mechanics your mechanics need to be good. Like, don't be out there heel clicky, narrow footed in the pocket, not like distributing your weight well, and sprint. Like, you're literally, the ball is just everywhere. Every time you release the ball, no one knows where it's going to go. It could go between the numbers. It can go high. It can go low. It can go too far inside. Like, he needs to have a good week from everything. Interviews, podium, testing, medicals, everything needs to go well for him.
Yeah, I agree. And it's the same context, right? You want an offensive coordinator, head coach to say, you know what, let's take this young man in the 3rd round, right? Let's take him with one of our top 100 picks and see if we can get something out of him and be able to develop him. DP, let's do the sleepers, man. Let's do a couple names that nobody's talking about that we haven't discussed in a while as far as combine sleepers, guys that could potentially elevate their draft stack. Let's talk about that coming up next.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? Well, FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn your dreams into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. And here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. And if you're already looking at the board and thinking about which teams you believe can make a deep run, well, this is the perfect time to lock in. And now, not only can your pick cash in, but it can also send you to the NBA Finals. So visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on any NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game. Guys, listen right here. Play your game with FanDuel, right? For a chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and everyday shot for being our everydayers. Quarterback sleepers to watch this week at the NFL Scouting Combine. Keith, I got to go to a guy who I'm high on, man, and I feel like he's got a chance to be. I've been teetering in terms of grades. Like, man, would I take him over Cade Klubnik? Would I take him over Taylen Green? Cole Payton from North Dakota State, like 6'3", 229, good arm, lefty, good athlete, accurate quarterback, played in that North Dakota State offense, which allowed him to showcase, hey, I can run the pro style stuff, get under center, handoff, play action, the traditional NFL concepts, but also I can go to pistol, I can go to shotgun, I can do those type of things. If the play breaks down, I'm more not just strong, but I'm more than athletic as a straight line runner to get upfield, get 10, 15, 20 yards if you don't bring me down or get to me quickly. I want him to go out there. I want to see him. I think he's got a big chance to make himself probably a late day 2 pick, in my opinion, Keith. I think he's got that opportunity. If he does everything well and is really – because he's an accurate quarterback. If he goes up there and throws the ball well, good placement, accuracy, anticipating things like that, like really allowing the receivers to look good, and then showcasing that arm talent and everything like that, I think he helps himself a lot.
Is there an opportunity for him to go, when you say day 2, right? Obviously, that's 2nd and 3rd round. Do you think there's an opportunity for him to fall within that top 50? Like, is there like teams that can be like, you know what? Like, we really like this guy from a mobility standpoint and everything he brings to the table athletically. Plus, there seems to be some arm talent for him.
Yeah, I think so, Keith. I think there's a chance for that because and that's why I want him to do everything. I want him to run, jump. I want him to do all the testing, and then go on the field and rip throws, right? Because I think my comp for him, play style wise, I think he coming out. I think he reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts, where he gives you that power running in the run game. You can do all the similar things, the QB power and counters and the heck, if you want to do the brotherly shove or the tush push or whatever, like he's built for that. Most teams can't do it because their quarterbacks in the league are not built for that. Like the Carolina Panthers do not run QB sneaks because they said no. Like Canals, like I'm not running that with Bryce. Absolutely not. Right. Remember, I think the Chiefs won't run it with Mahomes like that because the last time, if I remember that one time they did a couple years ago, he dislocated his knee or something like that. Like he messed his knee up, right? So like you got to be kind of honestly, you got to kind of just be built a certain way to handle that play and everything. He's built for all that run game. He's a +1 in the run game, make you play 11 on 11. But then also he's got the ability to drive the ball in the middle of the field and make those throws that we say the quarterbacks live in the middle of the field, typically the guys who have success. But then he can throw the one-on-one ball down the field, similar to what Jalen Hurts does. I think he's better thrown in the middle of the field than Hurts. Hurts, very similar to Hurts. He can push the ball down the field. I think Hurts was more accurate outside the numbers down the field than Cole Payton. Cole Payton was a one-year starter, so I think he's got a chance to prove to a team, hey, draft me, stash me for a year. You know what I mean? Think about the Rams and things of that nature. Heck, the Vikings, if you want to go run with J.J. McCarthy all season, cool, run it. And you could draft him, on day 2, and then he could actually step foot into that offense and run that offense very well.
Yeah, the DP. The reason I asked about the second round because I was looking at these teams, right, and we just discussed it in the last segment where taking Ty Simpson, right, would be a stretch to take him maybe within those top 15, top 20 picks, right? I think you said the first spot he can go to is 16, the Jets. But when you look past that, right, and some of those same teams that need quarterbacks, I mean, look at their second round picks, right? The New York Jets sit at 33. The Arizona Cardinals sit at 34. Then you have the Miami Dolphins sitting at pick 43. You have the Jets again at 44. The Indianapolis Colts, I think, could be an interesting situation, right? If they want to get somebody behind Daniel Jones, a young guy, and he's mobile too, right? And has that power frame, right? Like they can be an interesting spot for taking a quarterback. And then there was one other team that I was looking at, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh sitting there at 53 can be an interesting situation, and then wraps up with the Los Angeles Rams at 61. I mean, that kind of gets me leaning, DP. And I know that's not what we're supposed to be talking about, but could we see a few quarterbacks fly off the board in the second round where teams need the quarterbacks? Like, we didn't want to take on the first, but we're willing to take a swing on in the second round on you guys. And each team kind of grabs their guy, right? Like we got our best player available in the first round. Now let's go grab that quarterback because there's a lot of teams, and we said supply and demand issues. A lot of teams that need quarterbacks. But it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. DP, a sleeper. I'm gonna go with a guy that. I mean, I don't think we can be more sleep on. I don't know if we discussed him. Might have been a month or two, right? I'm not sure. Drew Allar, just conversation wise, right? Like just drumming up the momentum because he was very much so a physical tools as far as fitting the ideal stature that you want from an NFL prototype quarterback of being 6'4", 6'5", 220 pounds, rocket arm. What does he do? And I know he's coming off the injury. I believe it was a broken ankle. And I was doing some research to try to see how healthy he was. I don't know if he's throwing or not at the combine, but I think even if, like, let's say if he's throwing, obviously it's very important. If he's not throwing, I think it's very important for him just to get back in the mix, right? Like you talk about, he has been the definition of out of sight, out of mind, like just not discussed much at all
since October.
And I think if he finishes the season, I think there's still conversation because everybody was so in love with the tools. It wasn't about that the film was perfect. The film was not perfect at all, right? But people love the physical tools. So I wonder if there's going to start to be another drumming of that conversation about what Drew Allar can be as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I think that even the teams you name, right, the Rams at 63 and stuff like that, the Dolphins, the Cardinals, the Jets, like even the Jets, like, okay, well, maybe we don't take you. Like maybe if he slips out of the day 2 and he's right at the top of the 4th, they got to pick 103. You know what I mean? Like the third pick of the fourth round. Why not take a flyer on him? I expect him to, because main thing for Drew is like, hey, go ahead and get those medicals done, interview. The whiteboard is going to be big for him too. It's just to showcase the football IQ, how smart, how intelligent are you from a football standpoint and everything, Keith. So yeah, Drew Allar definitely has a lot to gain, because if you are healthy and the medicals come back well and stuff like that, now a team can, and you do the whiteboard well and all that type of stuff. And you know what? Yeah, we're good. Like, you gonna throw at your pro day? All right, cool. We'll be there. Or you're a late, or was that one of those early April private workout situations where teams, like 15, 20 teams, send their scouts and coaches there and they watch you work out in person and for your own personal pro day? Cool, right? So I think, yeah, Drew Allar, like he needs to drum up some type of noise, positive noise about himself while we're here, going to be here in Indianapolis this weekend. I'll throw one more name out, and that's UConn quarterback Joe Fagano, 6'4", 225. That's Skylar Bell's quarterback, right? This young man threw only one interception this season to like 26, almost 27 touchdowns. He's accurate, 6'4", 225. I think his arm is good. At the end of the day, hey, can you perform well to get that Tyson Bagent type of deal, where you're a fourth, fifth round pick somewhere in there, and a starter goes down, or you got an older starter in camp, and like, you know what? Let Fagano throw the ball. Let him go out there with the ones, and let's see what he looks like. And now you've kind of drummed up some buzz about yourself, and team looked at you as a potential starter in about a year or two, right? So I think definitely keep for the listeners, for the Locked On family, UConn quarterback Joe Fagano, he can play.
I like that, DP, and that's a name pool. I don't know if we discussed it yet on the podcast, but heading to the NFL Combine, that's what we do, man. We're talking about all these prospects. We need to know who is who. But DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at the Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to the podcast, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.